Hey, what's going on, everyone? Axel here, and I know it's been a very long time since I'd uploaded a video to this channel, but I have been thinking about it recently that maybe I'd start making some other videos other than my main channel, other than just my D&D videos, and this is a really good one to make because, one of the biggest movies probably of the last, 10, 15 years, definitely the last 10 has came out actually today, and I did go see it early. This is being recorded the 25th of April, and I just got out of Avengers Endgame. So for those of y'all who don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Marvel movies. I've seen all the movies. Most of them I've seen multiple times. The Avengers movies I've seen a lot, and I really, really, really liked Infinity War. And so going into Endgame, so I was really excited to see it. Really excited to see how they kind of wrap up this chapter of the Marvel Universe. And before I get started, obviously, this is going to contain a lot of spoilers. So this is not a spoiler-free review. This is a spoiler review. So if you've not seen Avengers Endgame, please turn the video off. You don't want to ruin this huge movie for yourself if you're a fan. So I will give you 5 seconds to turn the video off if you've not yet seen the movie. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So Avengers Endgame, my thoughts. Well, I can say first of all, it didn't start how I expected. So at the beginning of the movie, you kind of see it connects almost instantly from where Infinity War left off. So you've got Tony coming back on the ship from the planet where he kind of battled Thanos and they lost. That's where, if you remember, most of the Guardians disappeared. It's where Spider-Man, died in Infinity War, and he's coming back, and his ship is it's running out of power, and he's kind of screwed because he's going to die because there's basically no way for him to get back to Earth. He ran out of power, and him and Nebula are sitting there on the ship. Well, Captain Marvel comes in. She's comes out of nowhere, and when they're just about to run out of oxygen, and she swoops them, they come back to Earth, and they kind of just wrap up things. The first part of the movie was a lot sappier than I thought it would be. I mean, I thought there would be some of that, but man, I think this movie overall was just it was a lot sappier than I was expecting, and at the same time, it was also a lot more comedic than I was expecting. So when Iron Man comes back, it kind of introduces Captain Marvel to the rest of the cast, and we kind of start this process of figuring out how they're going to get back at Thanos. So the first thing they do instantly, which blew me away actually, is within the first 20 minutes of the movie, 30 minutes of the movie, they come together and they're like, hey, where's Thanos right now? A lot of us are still alive. A lot of us Avengers are still alive. So why don't we just go kill him? So Captain Marvel's there. They're all there. They hop on, I think, the Guardian ship, and then they go off to this planet where Thanos retired, basically called the Garden. And they go down and they see him. He's right there on the planet all alone. His armor's not on. So they basically just swoop down there. They catch him really easily and they kill him in just a few minutes. They actually were interrogating him a bit, talking to him about what happened. What did he say? I think he said, I think he said something like, "You can't undo it." But anyways, Thor's there. Thor kills him, and I forgot to tell you about Thor. I don't like what they did to Thor in this movie. What they did at the very beginning with the fat Thor thing. So Thor didn't take the actions of Infinity War well. He came back. He kind of became this drunkard. He really, really depressed, a lot of mental issues because of the defeat. Didn't really have a path. All his family's dead, basically. It makes sense. But they show him, and he's fat, like really fat. And I didn't like it because he was. They kind of, Thor has an iconic look, and they changed that, and I didn't like that. I mean, it was funny as just a joke for the first few minutes, but then it was like, okay, this is kind of silly. And they kind of did to Thor what they did to Hulk in Infinity War, which they kind of made him a wimp the whole time. I didn't like that. I mean, he did fight in the end battle and stuff, but I didn't really like that, like the broken Thor thing. I don't know. I just didn't like it. But anyways, they go back, they kill Thanos, and that's pretty much that. And I'm like, wait, what? Where are they going to go from here? But obviously from there, they were going to do something about getting back all those characters that died, and obviously they aren't going to let characters like Black Panther, Spider-Man. Obviously, like we know that those characters are coming back somehow. So it's just a matter of how they're going to come back. I was hoping they would do something that wasn't the obvious thing, which is what they did. So hoping they do something like maybe with the Infinity Stones, they could create some kind of alternate reality. I don't know. But then that option was dead because when they found Thanos to kill him, he had actually destroyed all the Infinity Stones using the power of the Infinity Stones. So that option was gone. But I was hoping they'd come up with some other explanation other than travel back in time to revive these people. But I guess there was no other creative ideas they could think of, or they just didn't want to do anything else. But in any case, Ant-Man, at the end of Ant-Man 2, so at the end of Ant-Man the Wasp, everyone that gets dusted while he's in the quantic realm. So while he is microscopic, the Wasp and Hank Pym and his wife, they all get dusted. So he's trapped in there, and he poofs out he comes out 5 years later, and they skip 5 years at this point. So he obviously has the idea that, hey, we'll just use the quantum realm to go back in time. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but okay. So that's the plan they come up with. Iron Man doesn't want to do it at first. Iron Man is he's got his family, he's married with a kid at this point. He doesn't want to do anything about it, but whatever. They decide to do it. So from there, it kind of unfolds pretty much exactly as you would expect. They go back in time. They go through all the go after all the Infinity Stones so they can collect them from the past, so they can redo the whole snap thing and bring everyone back. The cool thing about it is, as they're retrieving the stones, we saw flashbacks from prior Marvel movies, so you can tell this movie was really a celebration of the whole 10-15 year history of the Marvel movies. So they go back in time. They go visit a lot of the older movies from like 2012, 2014. We see footage from like Thor 2. We see footage and a lot of cameos. We see characters from the Doctor Strange movie. I can't remember her name, but the kind of bald-headed woman who was Doctor Strange's teacher, she makes a cameo. Natalie Portman makes a very brief cameo. I'm not sure if it's a cameo or if it's just footage from Thor 2 that they reused. But in any case, Natalie Portman does appear very shortly. Thor's mother reappears as a cameo. We see footage from different angles of Avengers 1. So the Battle of New York. We see Loki again. What else? They go back into basically the 70s, so we see a young Hank Pym, and we also see Agent Carter. So that was Captain America's girlfriend, or would-be girlfriend. So everything kind of unfolds as you would sort of expect. I mean, there's a few hiccups along the way, but they go back, they gather the stones, and what happens is Thanos picks up on what they're doing, what's going on. So Thanos in the past kind of sees what's happening because he's able to read Nebula's programming or something, and basically he finds out, and he himself goes back to I think he goes to the future. It gets really confusing with this point, but in any case, he gets old Thanos goes back to the current Avengers timeline after they bring all the Infinity Stones back. Thanos also comes back from the past to the future. And then there's a whole final battle. And the final battle is really cool because it's a celebration of just Marvel's history. We see this huge Avengers army. It's not just the 6 Avengers. We see, all the Wakandans come out, all the monks from the Doctor Strange movies. We see like Valkyrie. We see the Asgardians that are, I guess the Asgardians that are left. We even see we see all of the Avengers come back that have now been revived, because after they get the Infinity Stones, they make a new glove for Hulk and he snaps it. So that brings everyone back. Vision. So Vision died. He doesn't come back because I'm not really I guess because he didn't get dusted. Other than Vision, basically everyone is there kind of at the final battle. Oh, except for Vision and one character, the one big surprise death in Avengers Endgame, which I was not expecting, which was Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow. So what happens is when they go back to get the Soul Stone, they kind of reenact the whole thing with Thanos and Gamora in Infinity War, and where he has to give up something he loves to get the Soul Stone. basically Hawkeye and Black Widow have to do the same thing, and they go when they go back to get the Soul Stone, they have to go through that process again. So one of them has to die, and there's kind of this fight. Both of them want to make the sacrifice, and it ends up that Black Widow kind of wins that exchange, and she commits suicide basically, and kills herself so that Hawkeye can return to the Soul Stone. But anyways, the final battle, it was just a great celebration of Marvel's history. That was awesome. What else? So the final battle kind of unfolds as we would expect. The good guys win. There's a whole struggle for the new Infinity Gauntlet that has been created by Tony Stark, and Captain Marvel and Spider-Man and a lot of other people get in the fold there, trying to get that gauntlet. And there's a big fight between Captain America and Iron Man and Thor, and also one of the big surprises, which was basically a seed that was planted all the way back in Avengers 2. It turns out that in that final battle, Captain America actually wields Thor's hammer, so he is worthy. And that's something, if you remember in Avengers 2, when they're doing that, there's a party where they're all trying to see who could pick up the hammer, and Captain America actually managed to nudge it. If you remember that scene paid off in Avengers Endgame, because Captain America actually fights with the hammer, and Thor got his hammer again because he got it back from the past, but when he went back. So that all happens, and I think the movie kind of culminates with two big deaths, which I was expecting, and I did think these two characters were both going to die. Well, one technically doesn't die, but the big one is, spoilers, Iron Man. So at the end, there's a big tussle over the gauntlet, and Iron Man ends up with it at the end, and he snaps, and the power of the snap kills him. But when he snaps, he basically makes all of the bad guys go to dust. So Thanos and all his men all go to dust. So he uses the power of the gauntlet to dust everybody. Not sure totally how that works, but I guess if you have all the Infinity Stones, you can do that if your mind is, if you're thinking about it. So that's how Thanos is ultimately killed again for final this time. But the injuries Iron Man sustains does kill him. And it kind of is a throwback to Avengers 1, where Iron Man killed himself, or almost killed himself, to save New York. And this time he did, unfortunately, not survive. But it was expected. I know that Robert Downey Jr., from what I've heard, he was pretty much done with the movies. So it's unexpected. It's a great way if the character's got to go out. Like, he's the number one character in the Marvel universe, and he's where it all started with Iron Man 1. So if he was going to go out, it had to be in a heroic way, saving everybody. So he got a really good death. It was a great death. He died saving everybody, making the hero play. So that's awesome. I think it was a great death. And then, so we have, after he dies, we have the funeral scene for Iron Man. And then it goes, then in order to fix the past, they have to return all the, or to make it so that, I don't know exactly. Doctor Strange's mentor, the bald lady again from Doctor Strange, she explained it. I don't really totally understand, but in any case, they had to return the Infinity Stones back, so to the past. So who does that? Captain America volunteers to do that. So he has to go back, I think, to the different areas. They went back in the past, and they had to go back to the 60s or 70s again, where Captain America originally saw his old girlfriend for the first time. So he does that. He goes back in time to return the Infinity Stones, except he goes back to, it didn't really say, I'm not sure, the 60s or 70s, I would assume, or 60s. So he goes back to that time to return that Infinity Stone, but he decides to stay there and live out his life with his, Agent Carter, with his old girlfriend that he did not ever get to live with because he was frozen in the ice. After the events of the first Captain America, he was frozen in the ice for 70 years. So she lived her whole life while he was frozen and ended up dying. I think it was in Avengers 2 or 1. I think it was maybe 2. So she was an old woman by the time he came out of the ice as a 25, 30-year-old man. So he got to go back and he got to live out his whole life. And after he goes back in time, about 10 seconds later, old Captain America appears on a bench in front of the lake that was near where he originally transported back for that. So he appeared almost instantly after he disappears. He reappears as an old man right across from where they're standing. So you see Falcon go back and kind of have a conversation with old Captain America, which wraps that up. It was worth it to him. He was happy that he got to live out his life. So that all happens, and that is basically it. Unfortunately, there's no end screen. This is the first Marvel movie, by the way, where there is no end clip. So I hope everyone across the country is going to wait through the entire credits to see a teaser clip at the end, but there actually isn't one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think that the movie was just first impressions. Again, I'm just walking out of the theater just now. I think it was good. I'm not going to say I don't think it's as good as Infinity War was. I had a couple issues with the movie. I didn't like Fat Thor. Like, it was funny for like five seconds, but then it was like, come on, I don't know. I just don't like what they did to Thor in this movie. They made him a wuss, and I didn't like that. I thought the Black Widow death was very clever. I wasn't expecting it. It was very good. I was kind of surprised, as I thought Scarlett Johansson was up to do more movies, but I guess not. I heard some rumblings about a Black Widow movie, but maybe that fell through, or maybe they're going to do an origin story or something with that takes place in the past. But the Iron Man death was awesome. The Captain America death was pretty good too. I like that. And I guess technically he's not dead. He's just an old man. So he could make a cameo potentially in a future movie, which I assume they'll do more Avengers movies, because now everyone's back. They're definitely doing more, Black Panther. They're going to do more of those types of flicks, I'm sure, with Black Panther and I guess Thor, since he's still around, and maybe Hulk, and I don't know what else, but I'm sure there'll be more Marvel movies and probably more Avengers movies. I mean, they're not going to not make more Avengers movies. Like, I don't see any way they just don't make Avengers movies for 10 years, because there's just this movie's going to make billions of dollars. So yeah, I'm satisfied with the end. As someone who's been a fan and kind of watched these movies for probably what, 15 years now. I can't remember when the original Iron Man came out. I think it was early 2000s, but yeah, it was no, I think it was mid 2000s, mid or mid late. But anyways, it's probably been like 10 years, 15 years. So yeah, it's a good way to wrap up this chapter of the universe. I'm happy with it. I'm not blown away with it. Like, I was hoping I'd be blown away with it, but I'm not blown away. It's just pretty good. I feel good about it, not great about it. Do I want to watch the whole thing again? Yeah, I probably before this I thought for sure I would go see it again in theaters, but now I'm like, you know what? I'll probably wait until it comes out on Blu-ray and then pick up the Blu-ray. I don't know that I need to go see it again in theaters. So I would say overall I'm content but not blown away. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope that no one watched this without seeing the movie, because I really was hesitant about putting this video out, especially today, because I was really wary of that. I guess as far as this channel, guys, if you all like this review, maybe I'll do more movie or TV show reviews in the future. Again, on my main channel, I'm still doing more D&D videos. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think. Do you like this? Do you want to see more videos like this from me in the future? I'd really look forward to hearing that feedback. So guys, yeah, that's it. You all take care. I'll see you next time.